In the year 2006, there was a terrible accident just very close to the setting of Taylor University. Several Taylor University students and staff were coming back from the end of a weekend, and as that van was making its way back home, a huge trailer truck crossed over the median. The man had fallen asleep at the wheel, they say, crashed into this van, killing 4 students and 1 staff member. And one of the families, the Van Ryn family, was told that their daughter Laura had survived the crash, but she looked terribly disfigured. But they needed to come, and the others were told their kids had been killed in the crash. So the Van Ryns come, and they're standing next to the bed of Laura, and her face is so contorted and distorted by the accident, they can't even recognize her. So they keep waiting and waiting for this coma to come to an end, matted hair, disfigured face. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and gradually she starts talking. But she was not making very much sense, except not to respond to the name Laura. And after 4.5 to 5 weeks pass by, she looks at them and says, "Why do you call me Laura? I'm not Laura. My name is Whitney. I'm Whitney Sirac." And the parents are just staring into the face of this now recovered mind, and they contact the officials of the university and say, "Was there a Whitney Sirac in that van?" Said, "Yes, but she was killed and she's been buried." So you better come here. You come and check it out. So the Van Ryns are brought into a conference room. The Sirac family is brought into a conference room, and then say, "We have some news to give both of you. The young gal that you've been looking after is not your daughter. Your daughter Laura was killed in the car crash, we just find out, because no DNA test was actually taken. They had similar features, and the person who picked her up along with, I don't know whether it was a wallet or a cell phone or what, just carried it back and assumed this belonged to her. And so the Sirac family, who had already had the funeral of their daughter Whitney, were told, "Your daughter is not dead, this is her." And the Van Ryn family was told, "Your daughter is buried," and the grave marker gives the name of Whitney Sirac. We're awfully sorry for what it is that has happened here. The coroner lost his job over the whole thing. You see, there is a particular value to you. Your name is given by those who help bringing you into being. You can always replace a worker. You will never, ever replace a person. Persons are unique. They are distinct. Don't anyone ever minimize who you are as a singular individual. Don't ever try to be somebody else. Don't feign at being somebody else. You are a person with a DNA, and God's image is on you in a general sense. God's unique gifting is in you in a particular sense. When I was 17 years old, I would never have dreamed that I'd be standing here at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta some years from now, talking to over 60,000 youth live and many online. Because at the age of 17, I was on a bed of suicide, having attempted to take my own life. And God, who's sovereign over the whole universe, tapped the shoulder of one man who had come to India from Calgary, Alberta, and told him to send somebody into my hospital room with a Bible. I'd never owned one. I'd never opened one. I didn't know if you told me there were 4 different gospels telling you the same story of Jesus. And here the Bible is being read to me by my mother, whose English was not that sharp, and she's reading from the King James language, and comes to the words of Jesus, "Because I live, you also shall live. And till this day, now at the age of 73, 56 years later, I stand before and I say to you, why on earth did a sovereign God care enough to speak to somebody to come into that hospital room and speak to me? The day you wake up and it dawns on you that you matter to God as an individual, that you never realize the dreams and the plans that He has for you, and the fulfillment He can bring in and through you, the majestic name that He holds is willing to indwell you. Think of this. He's dying on the cross to bring redemption to the whole world. To the whole world. To offer redemption. What is one of the last things He says? He looks at a young man and tells him to take care of his mother.